Good on, Central Unit, it's the Central Man here, so back again with another WCW Monday Nitro review. This time going to review Nitro for the 11th of December, 1995. This Nitro was in Charlotte, North Carolina. This Nitro kicked off with the opening match, that is Eddie Guerrero versus Mr. JL, that is Jerry Lynn under a mask. It was a fun opener, fast-paced, Lucha Libre style moves for Guerrero and Jerry Lynn, JL. It's planting the seeds of the Cruiserweight division for the following year in 1996. In the end, Eddie Guerrero rolled up Jerry Lynn for the victory. And then we got the first promo segment of this Nitro with Mean Gene interviewing Jimmy Hart and Lex Luger, members of the Dungeon of Doom. Jimmy Hart took a dig at Mean Gene because Mean Gene says, "Where do you dress? Or who dress you?" And Jimmy Hart says, "How about do the best thing what you do? Point a microphone and shut your mouth and stand there." And he said about Luger is the uncrowned world champion. It brings up the previous week's Nitro in the match between him and Savage for the world title. It ended with Hulk Hogan really came to the ring. He was suspended at the time. And Luger kind of rambled. He talked about, Flair, we see eye and eye, and Sting, we're best friends. And he brings up the match at Starrcade, and he ends it with let the best man win. And it's not the last time we see Luger on this show. Anyway, so the next match, we got Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff taking on Disco Inferno. The match was meh. Just meh. Paul Orndorff hit like a back suplex onto Disco Inferno to score the victory. And this is, Paul Orndorff's final really match as a pro wrestler. We'll get to it later on. And then we got this second interview segment for Mean Gene interviewing 3 members of the Horsemen. Pillman kind of rambled in this promo segment. I like Brian Pillman. He's a good mic skill. Yeah, he's got a bit of a raspberry voice, but in this interview segment, he kind of rambled. He brings up like Hogan ditched the black, the all black. He was doing the whole dark side gimmick. Still in this feud with the Dungeon of Doom, and they ditched it with the yellow and red. He took a dig towards Paul Orndorff. Used to be Horseman material, and then he hangs out with Gary Spivey. And he kind of put over the Horsemen. It was the best, really one of the best dynasty in pro wrestling history. And then I think Flair was about to say something, and then you got Paul Orndorff came around, confront Pillman, said about I could be part of the 4 Horsemen. He said about you're carrying the Horsemen's bags, and you just and basically Pillman attacked Orndorff, and then you got Orndorff and Pillman brawl. Anderson and Flair basically beat down Paul Orndorff, fighting towards near the Nitro set, the entrance, and they hit like a spike power driver on the concrete floor. And this was the end of Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff as a pro wrestler. I done my research that he had previous injuries to his neck, and right now he's 71. So back then he was about 30. He was 46 years old. He was in his mid-40s. I think at the time he was not really doing anything. It's the way to write him off. And yeah, I think he took surgery. He retired. I think he later on became the road agent of WCW until the end of the company's existence. So it's just what it is. Anyway, the next match, we got Hacksaw Jim Duggan taking on Lex Luger. The match is meh. Another meh match. Typical Duggan doing his shtick, ho, and USA. Duggan, I'm not saying Duggan's gimmick is bad, but, it's okay for a foreign wrestler, but, Luger's from America as well. I don't want to get into it, so, in the end, Jimmy Hart basically grabbed the 2x4. Luger locked Duggan with the torture rack to score the victory. Then we got the third and final, actually not third and final, but the third interview segment with Mean Gene interviewing the world champion Randy Savage. Brings up Savage's match at Starrcade, and also the match at the next week's episode, Nitro against the Giant for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Savage said about, I don't care about Flair and Stinger and Hogan. I cared about, the match against the Giant. And then moving on to the main event. The main event, we got Flair and Anderson, two members of the Horsemen, taking on Hogan and Sting. The match was slightly decent. Like, during this match, you got Jimmy Hart and Lex Luger of the Dungeon and Doom basically beating down Hogan. You had Luger lock Hogan with the torture rack to really, wound him down a little bit. Anyway, so the whole bulk of the match, basically Flair and Anderson work on the knee of Sting. I think that before the when Luger attacked Hogan, Sting locked Flair in the Scorpion Deathlock, and Double A hit Sting with the DDT. Anyway, in the end, Sting hit the Stinger Splash on Flair, and I think it was Flair, and Hogan hit the leg drop to score the victory. And by the way, the fans were booing Hogan. This is the time when the fans are really turning on Hulk Hogan. He's getting that John Cena treatment. Like, he get I think the cheers, that's for the kids, and the males starting to boo Hulk Hogan. Don't worry, he'll be a heel in 1996, the NWO. And then you got Pillman of the Horsemen come down being both Sting and Hogan. And then you got Luger as well. And, you got Sting accidentally clocked Randy Savage. I think at the time, they're still having beef between one of them. And then you got this fourth and final interview segment. I don't want to get into it. Sting said about, I didn't mean to, and then, and basically Hogan says you need to, make up, and I don't want to get into it, man. It's just like, it's not really get to the bullet point, Anyway, and that was the end of this episode of Monday Nitro for the 11th of December, 1995. It was an okay show. Boy, I'm going to give it probably, I'll give it 5.5 out of 10. It was an okay. Two matches in the good for me has to be the opener and the main event. Eddie versus Jerry Lynn, or JR at the time, and Sting and Hogan versus Flair and Anderson. And they were not really bad matches like Disco Inferno and Paul Orndorff and Luger versus Duggan. They were just like meh, blink or you miss it. And yeah, it's a shame for Paul Orndorff. That was his last match as a pro wrestler. Yeah, he became a road agent. It's just what it is. Like I said, he's not really doing anything at the time. So that's my review of WCW Monday Nitro for the 11th of December, 1995. Not really to talk about. These Nitros in 1995, they were mediocre. Nitro will get better in like 96, 97, 98, and a little bit in 99. So, leave your thoughts in the comment section below, smash the like button, and subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube. And this is the Central Man officially signing out. And we'll see you next week for another review of WCW Monday Nitro.